Hello everybody, this is Karen.
Hi, and I'm May.
And we are from
Boomers to
Gen Z. So today we're going to talk about aspiration or what we want for our future and things like that, right? So I'm kind of at the second half of my journey now. I'm curious, being 24 and you are currently trying to build your career, trying to reset everything. What do you have in mind for your future?
So at the moment, I want to be able to build something. So because I'm like I have my own little enterprise at the moment.
Okay.
But at the moment, it takes up a lot. So in order for me to earn a certain amount of money, I need to put in a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So for the next 10 years, I want to focus on looking at opportunities and educating myself to build something that would make money whether I'm there or not. And the reason for that is that, like, by the time I'm like 35, I want to be able to go and experience things. I want to be able to go and I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to really experience things in life. I want to jump out of a plane. I want to travel a little bit more. I want to live in different countries and experience living in different countries.
Okay.
And I think that that's what would truly make me happy I think that for me, especially, I get very bored being in one place as well. Mm-hmm. So I just want to make new connections and get to know people in a world where we're so connected online.
You're right.
I think that seeing all of that has just made me want to go and live it a little bit more. So because we're so exposed to what the streets of Italy looks like, or like what does a little town in the south of France looks like, or what is Africa like, that now seeing it, I want to go and be there for a bit.
Right.
So that's a driving factor. If I don't achieve that, I would really hate myself.
But in all fairness, you're still very young, and to be kind of at 35, that's your target to be. I mean, that's what you're trying to do. Basically, you want to be financially free, right?
Probably won't be financially free, but to at least be able to to be able to afford these types of trips. Maybe not all the time, but maybe twice a year.
Okay. But then, wow, that's very, I don't know. For me, I feel that at 35, we're still young to So my question to you is, again, I feel that you guys in this generation, talks a lot about experience.
Yeah.
Which I have to say is very different from when I was in my 20s.
Okay, so what were you thinking about?
So I guess for me, my train of thought is, you got to work really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, retiring at 50 was that moment, not 35, you see. So
okay.
Yeah, so we were like, oh my God, that is the goal there. Plus, I think it's due to the way we were less talking about experiences. Mm-hmm. It was a lot more I think growing up in the 80s and 90s in Malaysia was doing quite well. There was a lot of the new wealth, meaning we were more exposed to the nicer things in life and all that. So there was a lot more the Chanels and Louis Vuitton and that kind of thing. But not as much as in today's world. But I noticed the young people now are less concerned about those things, which is nice.
Yeah.
Which is nice, I feel, and that you rather put that money into experiences.
Yes.
Am I right to say?
Yeah, that is very, very true. And I don't mind working at 35. Actually, at 35, I still intend to work, but I don't want to be working in a place where I have to report physically somewhere. So it's more freedom to kind of be where I want to be when I want to be,
right.
And be able to afford to do that. Because obviously, if I am earning in a certain currency, then going and living in Europe for 6 months is not going to work.
No.
So it's about how am I going to plan my career in a way where I'm going to be able to expand my sources of income to be able to support my desire for that experience.
So that means your main criteria is to have that location freedom.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't
Which-
mind working.
Right. Which means it's more it's a new trend of what they call the nomad.
Yeah, digital nomads. Yes.
So but okay, so I noticed that that's actually what's happening that I feel in Malaysia, and I know all countries really, is that we all suffering from getting quality staff and things like that because a lot of young people have opted to be digital nomads.
Yeah.
Am I right to
Yes,
say that?
that's
And a lot of you guys are thinking exactly what you just
Yeah.
said, which is I want to travel, I want to earn money, but I just want to travel and be at different places, which
Yeah.
means am I right to say that then this space becomes very crowded and very competitive?
That is very, very true. So, like, there's not a lot of jobs that you can do as a digital nomad. It's still very limited because a lot of the corporate companies, they still require you to come in. They're not very comfortable with you not being in the office all the time.
Yes and no, it's static.
It's static.
Yeah.
It's static.
Yeah.
So as a digital nomad, it's more of the techie stuff, right? To
Correct.
IT support or virtual assistant, digital marketing, content creator. So this now is becoming super saturated. And again, these jobs require time. So the more time that you put, the more clients you can service, the more money that you'll make. So that's why in the beginning of my answer, I said that like I would want to find out what else I'm kind of good for so that I can start to diversify. So like these are very like surface level subjects, right? So if you look at it like marketing, but marketing, there's so many areas in marketing. So
Right.
there's like consumer psychology.
Yeah.
And if I go into these different segments, I'd be able to make more money and become more niche, and I could go and travel a little bit. That maybe when I'm 40, big companies might hire me
Okay.
when I'm ready to settle down. But I think it's also because the housing. Okay, I don't know too much, but like from what I've heard on social media,
Okay.
okay, that's a trusted source, Karen. So
Not really, but anyway.
Instagram Reels have told me that the housing market at the moment is super scary. So I feel like my generation, we're growing up in a time where like we're constantly being told everything is too expensive.
Right.
And a lot of people are telling us to just keep renting because renting is the smarter thing to do right now. Unless you have lots of money and you're ready to sort of like live in a place. So flipping houses and all of that, like, I mean, a few of us could do it, but again, you need to have the cash. You need to be cash rich in order to start doing that.
Yeah.
So if I'm renting and my life is already like on a year-to-year tenancy agreement, that means I could change the city that I have my tenancy agreement.
True.
So I think that's the way we look at it. And maybe that could be different from when you were younger. Would you say that like the focus is more to like buy a house?
Yeah. I mean, for sure, we those days, it was. I would definitely say more percentage of Malaysians could own a home than today's Malaysia. I mean if you look at it, the housing prices have only gone up because material costs have gone up, cost of labor. However, the growth in salaries in Malaysia have not grown in proportion to everything. And I do feel really sad to see that a lot of young people are not able to really buy their dream home and all that, right? But also it's about if you rent, which means you're right. Of course, if you're renting, maybe you want to rent somewhere else and experience a
something
new
else,
location, that kind of thing. But in terms of the fact that you just said that the nomad, the digital working and all that, I get that. And if I'm in my 20s, I probably would want the same thing. But there's also the fact that as a previous business owner myself, I find that it's very hard to trust digital nomads.
Okay.
Because you worry that they're not going to do the task that's been assigned, or the sense of responsibility. So it's like I can understand why people like Google and Apple and they're all still trying to get their staff to come back in, purely because, hey, I'm still paying them for that. Are they going to be productive? So how do you assure assure a business owner that, hey, you're going to do the job. So how do you assure them?
Yeah, I completely, I see that. I actually do see that. Because before this, I guess that like if I was not to do my task, I need to come into the office and I need to confront the situation that I have not done my work, right?
Okay.
Whereas when you're working digitally, you just turn off my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You're not even going to be able to reach me. I could disappear. And like I might feel bad about it, but like you can't reach me anyway. So I never have to confront the situation or be accountable. That's
So-
very true. I can't answer that question, Karen. Honestly, I think it's either you build a good reputation for yourself. That's why I guess like on platforms like Upwork and stuff,
Right.
there's like ratings, right, for all these digital nomads.
But that's the thing, because you now with Upwork and Fiverr and all these so-called platforms that you can work, you are hiding behind that screen, which means for a business owner, how do I mean, we're still paying you the salary, even whether you deliver the job or not, because sometimes there are glitches and then somehow you are paid, right? But maybe the work is substandard or it's just not there. For the business owner, it's very painful because every penny does count. So my question to you is, what do you think would be a good balance? Because I see your view of saying, okay, I want to travel and I want to work from home, but how can young people build accountability and responsibility when they work for a company? I mean, in a way, when they are in any contract, they are working for a company, so they need to be liable. What can they?
So I think that educating my generation about accountability, taking responsibility, that is going to take time. We don't have time, right? So like I think that one thing that could be done is perhaps for the first few years, actually in your 20s, you should commit to a job to actually learn about like workplace etiquette, to understand etiquette and have that sort of like drilled into what you've become as a career person.
Right.
Have that built into your habits, like, you know,
Yeah.
because you need that and you need mentorship.
Yes.
So when you have that mentorship and you're able to create these habits, and then when you're ready enough to go off on your own, that way you won't fail. Because then again, as a digital nomad, as myself, so I was freelancing for a while, but when I first started freelancing, I was still tied to a company. It's just that I was freelancing, I would take side jobs here and there just to increase my income.
Right. Okay.
So that's how it actually all started with me.
Right.
And of course, you learn along the way, and then of course you learn from clients as well when you tie longer contracts. But I think that would be a good way. So like when you get out of school, finish your education, go work with a company that you really like to learn, because the learning process doesn't stop. With all the concerns that you raised, that means there's still things that we need to integrate into our...
Yeah, I just want to share with especially the younger audience who are listening to boomers, to Gen Z today, is that I'm not condemning what your dreams are and all that. I'm just saying maybe look at the point of view of the person who hired you, because there's always that worry, we're hiring you by the hour or by a task base, but you can hide behind all this. So, and you just need a few bad apples to actually destroy the entire platform. For instance, like let's say I sign up on Upwork and I went through a few freelancers, and they didn't perform, and that's it. Then the next thing I know, I don't want to use that platform anymore. And you swear off working with those people. So those are the things, and yeah, if I can share to the younger generation, is that if you want to be a successful digital nomad, as we call it, you need to step up in completing your task or communicating well. Even if you cannot, you must inform people so that the is to manage the expectation and say, okay, I can do this much, but this is beyond my skill set. Perhaps you need to look at some, instead of agreeing to do the work and then on the other end, perhaps the person or the company that hired you had expectations and not being able to, you're not able to meet them, and that could cause as well that friction between the older generation, especially with the young, because the older ones out, the way we are trained is we used to go into the office, we have to be accountable, we have to drop off our projects and deadlines have to be met, because if not, when you do in our, let's say, a weekly board meeting, and then they call you out, and that's it, right? So yeah, I mean, I understand why you want to be flexible in your location, because that's what I would love too. But at the end of the day, the reality is we do need money to survive, and we need to be responsible and accountable for the work we do.
I agree. I'm still learning. So here, 24, a digital, well, kind of a digital nomad in a way. I'm just not. I'm probably not in the city I wish I was in. But we'd like to hear from you. Like, perhaps, what are your aspirations? What do you feel like your obstacles right now? What are situations that you want to admit to us that you've learned from? You can comment those situations, and we can talk about it in our next episodes as well.
Exactly.
That'll be nice to hear.
Yeah. Take care, and we'll talk soon. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.